Good morning, guys. Now I'm going to start this podcast on a serious note. So I don't know if you know about meningitis and septicemia. These are diseases which are caused by germs that enter the body, and meningitis, to take that example, is a condition with the swelling of the meninges in the brain, and although some people are susceptible to it, some people are at higher risk than others. It can kill anyone in hours, and it's pretty brutal. And so I am climbing Kilimanjaro to raise money for the Meningitis Research Foundation, which does great work to provide vaccinations to those who are susceptible, and it's just researching into it in general and seeing if we can put this behind us. So I'd be very thankful. There's a link in the description if you could donate £5, or if you are a little bit more well off and more financially stable, maybe £10 or however generous, that would be very much appreciated. This has a particularly cruel sting for me. When I was about 14, I had what I would say is my most sort of brutal encounter with death. I'd been through death of grandparents and so on, and obviously that's tough. But age 14, one of my good friends, a boy by the name of Felix Byam-Shaw, who I used to play football with, and he was just an outstanding guy, really nice, kind. He's one of those guys you don't have a bad word to say about him. And I think he was in France on holiday, and within hours, just suddenly meningitis reared its ugly head, and he was killed, and he was dead within hours. And his parents and anyone had no idea, and it can kill in hours. And so that had a massive impact on me, and really rocked my world for a few months, really. And that's to say nothing compared to a good friend of mine, Monaco, who was really like his best friend, and they go way back, and so he knew him way better than I did. And so what he went through was nothing compared to me. What I went through is nothing compared to him. And so I'd be very grateful if you could donate to the Meningitis Research Foundation. Obviously, if you've got no money at all, then I don't want you to put strain on your finances. But if you do have a spare £5, please donate. Thank you. Anyway, so this podcast is going to be about a speech that I gave today. And I'll start with the quote, like I do, on Mark Twain. So I thought it would be an apt one, is this: when in doubt, tell the truth. So yeah. So there was a speech, or there was a, not really a protest, but there was a little gathering of solidarity today in Bristol, down by the harbour side, called Together with Refugees. And I heard about it last week, and I'm very much for the cause of refugees. My aunt, my whole family is sort of international in focus. My various members of my extended family work for Department of International Development, and I spent a lot of time in refugee camps, and so I thought I should do my small part and write something and contribute. Unfortunately, though, I was reading off my phone, so I wasn't able to record it. So I thought I would read it out now and make a podcast out of it. So here we go. I'll make this podcast brief. So, why should we care about our refugees? To be called a refugee is not an insult. It is the opposite of an insult. It is a badge of strength, courage, victory. Today we're here to ask the question, why should we care about our refugees? To many people, especially in the crowd gathered here today, the answer seems obvious. Do you remember in 2015, the images of a lifeless boy of 5 years laying limp on a Mediterranean beach? His name was Alan Kurdi. His photos were all across the media, and he was a young Syrian and Kurdish boy. And to many people, our hearts were broken, and from inaction we were awoken by this particularly heart-wrenching image. So why is it that today, only 6 years on, so many have forgotten his face, and so many have forgotten this cause? So I raise the question again. Why should we care about our refugees? This is why. They are our brothers and sisters. They struggle as we struggle. And it is our responsibility to look out for our fellow humankind as we expect them to look out for us. The lines drawn between countries and people groups should not and do not mean that we are not one mankind, and we must treat every individual, again, every brother and sister, with dignity, respect, care and kindness. Remember, no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land that they have lived in. And it is the obligation of every person born in a safer room to open the door when someone in danger knocks. So the natural question is, why is this not obvious to everyone? Why are some people hesitant to welcome those who have been persecuted? And why do racists assert without evidence that refugees are travelling here merely to commit acts of violent terrorism? What an abominable charge. Refugees are not terrorists. They are far from it. They are likely to be the victims of terrorism and have likely gone through horror and sorrow that none of us can likely comprehend. A refugee is someone who has survived and someone who can create the future and contribute to society meaningfully and with power. And more pressing, why do some people in this country, especially where we are born in comfort and wealth, why do some people seem to want to themselves persecute those who have been through hardship unimaginable and have lived a life thus far more difficult, uncertain, troubling than any of us are likely to comprehend? So why are some so confused? Why can't some see the truth that's right in front of us? I would argue, more than anything else, the answer is twofold: fear and ignorance. And fear that is based on and arises from ignorance. So I'll try wrap this spiel off by posing 2 solutions that I can think of. Now, I'm not in a position to advise, but as far as I can see, the answers are to ask those who are ambivalent about the struggle to 1, travel, and to 2, meet our refugees, meet our asylum-seeking friends. I was fortunate enough to spend some of my childhood in sub-Saharan Africa. My eyes were at a young age opened to those that were in need, those that were sick without a doctor, and those that were hungry. And I'm thankful for that opportunity. And so I would advise anyone who is nonplussed about this cause to travel, and to travel to a place where people are suffering. After all, the world is a book, and those who have not left their hometown have read only 1 page. And lastly, meet refugees. Meet with them, break bread with them, ask them questions, and then listen to their answers. Hear their stories. It might just change your life. After all, it was Albert Einstein himself, genius in mind and humanitarian in heart, that said, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those bystanders who watch on from the sidelines without doing anything." Awesome. Thank you so much, and please donate £5 to the Meningitis Research Foundation. Would be much appreciated. Thank you so much. Bye.